Okay, thanks for joining us today and taking time out of your busy schedule to listen to our live cast. But before we get started, I want to introduce the team to you. So I know we have several new people on this live cast here, and I want to make sure that everybody knows who works behind the scenes, who is always here to support you. So I'm going to go through everyone here. So I'm going to start with Tisha first. So Tisha is another advisor here at the office, and I'm going to let her say hello to everyone.
Hey everyone, I'm so excited that y'all are joining us today, and I can't wait to meet each of you at the live event that we're going to have in May.
All right. The next one is I'll have Alice say hello. She is one of our amazing support staff.
Hello, everyone. I'm so glad you made it here today, and I hope to be able to meet each and every one of you at the live event in May.
All right. And then we have Ty. He is one of our newer members of the support team, and we're super excited to have him here. So say hello, Ty.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us, and I can't wait to see all of you at the live event in May.
All right. And the last one here we want to talk about is Ray. And she's the new one here. She's come on board within the last 30 days. We're super excited to bring her on board. So Ray, you want to say hello?
Hi, everyone. I'm so glad y'all are here today, and I can't wait to meet each of you in May. I'm so excited.
And I guess last but not least, we need my better half. So I'm going to introduce my husband, Joe.
Everybody, great to have everybody on the call today. I appreciate you taking the time to be here. And, a lot of people say, well, it's mostly everybody here is retired, but what I hear is you get even busier when you get retired. So we appreciate you being here, and we're excited to see everybody live at our event. And we hope that each and every one of you can make it. So.
All right, so that's kind of all the ones that are behind the scenes that make everything possible. I tell them all the time, they always make me look good. So thank you to our team. So before we get started here, I want to just hit a couple of things. I know many of you received the email that I sent out about this live cast, and at the bottom of it, I had a very personal GoFundMe set up for some friends of ours. They're going through a really hard time with her husband having cancer and whatnot. So I set up a GoFundMe really to help the family. And I am touched by all of my clients that have donated money to my friends. And I don't think that you guys could ever understand how much that means to me and to my friends. So, okay. All right. So I wanted to say thank you to anybody that did that. Second thing I want to touch on is the ones that are unsubscribing to emails. So what we run into is if you get an email from me and you think, well, it doesn't really pertain to me, or I'm not really interested, and you unsubscribe. So you scroll down and you hit unsubscribe. Then what that means is you're not going to get any further emails from our office regarding your Medicare plans, regarding open enrollment. Because what it does is it takes you off of our list, and we're not allowed, unless you resubscribe, we're not allowed to then email you about, open enrollments and about your plans and things like that, with mass emails. So please, if you want to hear from our office, do not unsubscribe from our email list. So we've been having a few people that's had, this unsubscribed, and we call them and they say, oh no, I didn't mean to do that. So please do not unsubscribe. So today, what we really want to talk about is our live event that we're doing on May 19th. We're going to talk about it. I'm also going to talk to you about the trip where Joe and I went to Washington, D.C. and basically what we talked about with, Congress, and our job, is to represent you as a Medicare beneficiary. So we'll talk about that. So let's kind of delve right into this. Let's talk about the live event first. So if you're like me, we haven't seen each other since pre-COVID. Almost, well, it's been 3 years. That's so hard to believe. So many of you met me prior, met myself prior to COVID. We had face-to-face meetings. And unfortunately, with COVID, our business has changed. So now we do everything, of course, virtual through Zoom or through conference calls. So what I'm doing is we set up a live event. So exciting to see everybody because I'm a people person. I love to touch and I love to see everyone. So I'm super excited about this. Our event is going to be May 19th. Now, the reason I wanted to jump on here and explain is because the title of the event by one of our keynote speaker is the 4 phases of retirement. A couple people said to me, what's the 4 phases? Are you guys going to talk about finances or wills or trust or what really is this? I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. So you have no surprises. It has nothing to do with finances at all. It has everything to do with what's going on in this brain once retirement happens. So basically, I've been doing this business now since 2008. So 15 years or so. And what I found is I've heard these same stories over and over and over. And I really didn't know it all kind of came together until back, I think it was September of last year, when actually Joe is the one that ran across the TED Talk that Dr. Riley Moynes had done. And he sent it over to me and said, hey, listen to this. And I listened to him like, this is what our clients deal with every single day. I hear this. So what it boils down to is we reached out to him, Dr. Moynes, and what he did with us back in October was we did a interview. Sorry, my mind went blank for a second. So an interview. And when we did the interview with him, he kind of went through each one of those phases. So let me go through, and this, of course, he's way better than I am, but let me tell you what these phases are. So number 1, your first phase in retirement. Now, of course, most of you are either in the retirement years or you're heading into retirement. So at some point, all of you, if you're not already there, all of you will go through each one of these phases. And I didn't really realize that there was actual breakdown phases until I actually got to meet Dr. Riley Moynes and understand this process. So I want to share it with you. So the first phase is what they call the vacation phase. So I hear this quite often. Yes, I'm retiring. I can't wait. We're going to go here. We're going to go to Italy. We're going to travel here. We're going to travel there. And that's called the vacationing phase. Many people go into that vacation phase right at retirement, which you deserve it. So go for it. So basically they go into the vacation phase, stay in the vacation phase where they're doing what they want, when they want. No one's telling them what to do. They're going to see wherever, see and explore all these different places. With that being said, eventually they're like, okay, there's got to be more to life than just vacationing. Where is my purpose? What am I here for? So then they fall into phase 2, which the phase 2 is, what is my real purpose? Like, I've been defined by my job. I've been defined by my career. I've been defined by my law firm. I've been defined by my financial firm. Just like me, I right now am being defined as your Medicare advisor. That's what I am. So a lot of you have been defined by your careers. So now you've retired and you've kind of lost that what you're defined by. You kind of lost that purpose. Like, what am I really here for? So a lot of people fall into phase 2 where they're like, what is my purpose? And a lot of times, unfortunately, that's maybe where some illnesses come into play. Maybe some illnesses of spouses come into play where you fall into that phase 2 of maybe a little depression. What am I good for? What am I here for? And then we try to get you over to phase 3, where you've now kind of rediscovered what's your purpose. And I love when someone calls me and says, hey, Suzanne, guess what? I retired, but now I have defined what I'm going to do. And my next thing is I am volunteering at the local food bank. I am volunteering at the hospital. One person, I'm volunteering at the children's hospital, going in and rocking babies. What a purpose. So they now redefined their purpose of why they're still here. So then that's the third phase where they've now redefined their purpose. And then, of course, the fourth phase is once they've defined their purpose, where they're at and where they're happy for the rest of their life. So now Dr. Riley Moynes is 100% better at explaining this than me. However, I'm just kind of giving you an idea of kind of what he's going to talk about. And when I started hearing all of this, I thought to myself, every one of my clients are in one of these phases or soon to be in one of these phases. And my passion, Joe and I's passion, is obviously Medicare. You're going to hear me talk about Medicare and me helping you get through the navigating the Medicare maze and making sure you're on the right plans. We can do that till we're blue in the face, and we love helping people. But now it seems like our passion, if you're allowed to have two passions, maybe we're there now, because what we're wanting to do is help people determine what their purpose is after retirement. And that's exactly why we're bringing Dr. Riley Moynes in. So I can't wait to see everybody. Now, the room that we rented is at the Dublin Community Center. So here's the situation. We only have in that room enough seats for 162 people. So I didn't really know, because it's our first event. I didn't know if I should plan on 50 people or if I should plan on 350 people. I have had no idea. So what we did was we said, you know what, let's find something that will work for everybody, that's kind of a central location, and it only has 162 seats. So problem is it's going to sell out, and I'm not going to be able to get everybody there, but I know you will not regret coming to this event. Not only just to hear Dr. Riley Moynes, but you'll get to meet, well, I guess you'll see me, but you'll get to meet my amazing team that you guys work with every single day. So that's exciting. Now, here's where you go to get your ticket, because you have to have a ticket in order to come to the event. It's NUMedicareadvisors.com/event. So NUMedicareadvisors.com/event, or you can give our office a call and we can do it for you over the phone, because I know some people needed a little bit of help with that. Once again, NUMedicareadvisors.com/event, or feel free to give our office a call and we will help you do that. The tickets are $10 per person for that event. We will have lunch too. So that's the information on the event. It's going to start at 1:30. So 1:30 on May the 19th. So 1:30, May 19th, Friday. It's going to last about 2 hours. Now, the other thing that we'll be talking about at the event is we will have a Columbus realtor there. Her name is Kathy Cairo. Many of you, I'm sure, have heard of her. And she's going to talk about the real estate market in the Columbus area, Central Ohio area. Of course, we know things are changing, and a lot of clients have said to me, I kind of would like to be brought up to speed with what's going on, because obviously intel's coming in, the market's going up and down. She'll talk for just a few minutes about the real estate market. So I wanted to invite everybody. Once again, give us a call or go to the NUMedicareadvisors.com/event. That is about our live event. Joe, do you have anything to add here?
Yeah, I just wanted to add a couple. That was a really good explanation of everything, Suzanne. So I just wanted to add that the link, the NUMedicareadvisors.com/event is in the chat. If you see the Zoom chat here, one of the team dropped it in the chat, so you can take a look at that. It's also, the link is in the email that we sent you to come to this live cast. So that's the one thing. The other thing I wanted to add, Suzanne's explanation of Dr. Riley Moynes coming to help us is, he is going to go through and explain those 4 phases like Suzanne did there, but he's also going to, it's kind of like a workshop where he's going to go through some exercises to help you start thinking. Like if you're in that phase 1 or that phase 2, where you're thinking, I want to be doing something more, the vacations are nice, but what else can I be doing that's going to give me some meaning and purpose and redefine who I am? He's going to take us through some exercises on it so we can get to thinking like, hey, maybe I could do this, or maybe I would be good at this, because he's really good at what he does with helping, retirees go through that process and really start drilling down on what they've been good at their life, and can that translate to something that they can form an identity around in retirement also. So that's really good. I was thinking there was one other thing, but that's the main thing I just wanted to add there. Like that link is in the chat. If you can find the chat here on Zoom, then it's there. If not, check your email that we sent you about this live cast. So take it away, Suzanne.
All right, perfect. So the next thing we're going to talk about is Joe and I in February went to Washington, D.C. And while we were in Washington, D.C., you might ask, what was your purpose? Well, we belong to an organization. I'm actually on the board, and that organization basically handles healthcare. And what we do is as a whole, we go to Washington, D.C., we set up appointments with Congress and senators. We go in and we actually talk to them about specific things, specific topics. And of course, I'm your go-to gal, and I go and talk to them about Medicare. And so I take actually your live stories that you share with me. I go to Congress when we have our appointments and we have our settings, our meetings. We go in there and I tell your exact stories. And so here's an example. So of course, you have your congressmen, your senators. They really don't deal specifically with, let's say, Medicare. But for example, I met with one Congressman, Mike Carey. He's in your district. I met with him, and he's on the Ways and Means Committee. So what that committee does is that committee is over health insurance. So when we actually went and met with him, and I kid you not when I say I was sitting so close to him that I tapped him on the leg, and I was joking with him. And so when I went in, we said, okay, well, let us tell you some things that's going on. So when you go in to vote as the congressman, some of the issues that we deal with as Medicare beneficiaries, or what our clients are dealing with as a Medicare beneficiary, and some of the problems that are out there that we need you to vote and help us get fixed or corrected or make better for you as the Medicare beneficiary. So it was pretty incredible. So here's a big one. And I know many of you was on my live cast before, where I talked about, being in the hospital, admitted versus in observation. So admitted as inpatient versus observation. And I explained to you that in this particular situation, if you're in a hospital and you're going to be moving to a skilled nursing facility, that you need to make sure that you're admitted to the hospital, not under observation, or Medicare would not cover that, going to a skilled facility. Now, with that being said, that is exactly one of the topics we talked about. We went in there and I said to them, let me explain to you. And I told him this exact story. I had a client. She was in the hospital. She had the wristband on. They was coming and checking her vitals. And she was in the hospital. She thought she was admitted, but she was actually put in under observation. Then they transferred her from the hospital to a skilled nursing care center. She went to the skilled nursing care center. She was there for, I don't know how many days it was, but so many days. While she was in that skilled nursing care center, she was able to get better. She came out of the skilled care center. She received a bill and she called me, and it was about $20,000. And she said to me, Suzanne, why didn't Medicare cover this? I got digging into it. She was never admitted to the hospital. She was always in there under observation. So with that being said, that is one of the rules that we're trying to get changed. And this is the exact same story that I told Congressman. And I said, how would you feel if this was your parent? Or how would you feel if this was your grandparent? And all of a sudden they get a $20,000 bill. So I want you to know that we are definitely working on your behalf to get some of these laws and these rules changed. So that was one that we're working on. Now, over the years, we went and some of the laws or some of the things that we've, told them and tried to get changed, some of them have, come to fruition and became laws. But this is one we're working on. I want you to know we're working on your behalf. Another one that we talked to them specifically about was COBRA is not treated as credible coverage. So sometimes what happens, and this happened to a prospective client of mine, they quit their job, they went on COBRA for the 18 months. They did not pick up Medicare because they were not told they needed Medicare. When the COBRA terminated, they went to Social Security to get their Medicare, and COBRA is non-credible. The client had no idea, had never been told that before. So once again, they had continual coverage from COBRA. Client didn't know that. They finally was able to get Medicare Part B, but then they were assessed the late enrollment penalties. This is what we are doing, fighting on your behalf. So I want you to know we are here to support you as Medicare beneficiaries to help change these rules to make it better for you. So those are just two of the many talking points where we talk to Congress, and we're working to try to make things as good. I hope none of you mind. If you share a story with me, I share the story with them if it's applicable to the conversation that we're having. So any stories you have, you're more than welcome to send them my way. And if I feel like it's a perfect, if it makes sense during that conversation, I absolutely will use it. I'm going to let Joe talk about, we met our first lobbyist. It was interesting conversation. I'm going to let Joe talk a little bit about that. Go ahead, Joe.
Okay, yeah, good stuff. But so when you think of lobbyists, usually the most warm and fuzzy feelings do not come to your mind. But anyway, it's a very interesting conversation because I was just kind of digging in, asking him all the questions you might ask a lobbyist. And Suzanne and I are not political one way or the other. It's like our mission for going to the Capitol was all about what can we do to improve your lives, improve the lives of all Medicare recipients, really. So anyway, I was talking to him and, just asking what he did, what was his day-to-day like, and what does a lobbyist actually really do and that type of thing. And, he was just giving me all the typical lobbyist answers, as you might expect. It's basically just a relationship business, right? He's meeting with people, he's building relationships. So when he is, when there's a law or a bill or something coming up that a certain politician, he wants, to represent whoever his client may be, one way or another, he can, basically call in and say, hey, these are the reasons why you should go one way or another on this bill. So anyway, but I said to him, so what is from your perspective, I'm just the average person, what can I do to affect change and that type of thing? And his answer was really good. And it's, he's like, you would not realize how much power the average person has just by making a phone call to their representative, just by writing a letter, sending an email. He's because those small what you feel are small interactions, that is your elected representative. And especially the representatives in the district where you live. He said he knew who the representative in my district was, and he's he would probably even sit down and have a cup of coffee with you or something like that, and because that's their job in theory, is the representative is supposed to be representing us, right? So to me, I walked away from the interaction I feel we want to affect Medicare change, right? We want things to be better for everyone. And just the two things that Suzanne pointed out here, it's if we can affect change to help in those situations, then that's pretty big. So So what we're going to do, like Suzanne and I talked about it, what can we do on a higher level, leveraging that same thing? And it's like, when these things come up that are Medicare specific, we're going to be calling on you to say, hey, the representatives in these districts can make a difference on this bill. So we're going to be reaching out to you like, hey, this is what, if you could just send an email to this guy and basically, this is what is at stake, or if you can write a letter and send it to this, representative, because I think that us as a collective can really make some good changes, as they come. Obviously, like Medicare specific things are not, being voted on every day. So as they come, we're going to be reaching out to you, and I think we can do some good things if we work together. So that was one of the things. And then the other thing the story I wanted to share was, so we went to the Cap. So actually they have the Cap, the representatives have their offices at the Capitol, but then they have other buildings near the Capitol. And I guess there's an actual tunnel that goes from the Capitol to their other offices where they actually put the work in and do that type of thing. So there's an underground tunnel. We didn't get to see that, but we went to the offices, the building with all the offices, and there was, metal detectors and security you had to go through. So we're waiting in this line of security, and I just turned around and started chatting with the guy behind us, and he had a little badge on or something, and I just looked at that. I was like, and it said something about onions, and I'm like, so what do you do? And he's like, well, we represent the onion growers of America. And I was like, so what type of representation do onions need? And so it was very interesting. He started going into well, there's things with pesticides, and then there's things with, I guess there's importing of onions from across the border and that type of thing. So, and he actually had a little bag of onions with him that he was going to, I don't know, use as a prop as he met with whatever representative he was meeting with. So it was super interesting just kind of seeing what they the saying is, once you see how the sausage is made, you're never interested in eating any sausage in the future. So I feel like we were kind of seeing how the sausage was made in DC, and it was super interesting. But we came away from there thinking how can we use this to really make positive changes in the Medicare industry? And I think we have some ideas for that. So we're excited for that.
All right, thank you. And it was super exciting. It was very interesting. Actually, I was the one that went in and actually met directly with Mike. Mike Carey was one of them particularly. And it was just super interesting talking to him, because if you're like me, and I'm sure most of you are, you have these political people in your head, you see on TV or you hear on the news, but meeting them face to face as a person and sitting down and talking to them, it gives you a little bit different, I guess, viewpoint and respect for what they do. So, and we were received very well. There was several of us that went, like I said, I talked more about the Medicare with them, but we just wanted to share with you that we are definitely on your side. We're working for you. We're going out there. Your voices through me is being heard. So you tell us, we tell them. So we definitely want you to know that. So before we jump off here real quick, I just want to go back over real quick the live event, May 19th. Give our office a call to get your tickets, or you can go to numedicareadvisors.com/event. I want to thank everybody for taking this 35 minutes out of their busy Wednesday and listening to us. And if you guys have any questions or anything, feel free to reach out. Thanks so much, and have a wonderful, wonderful holiday weekend.
Suzanne, one other thing I want to mention. So we recorded this and we're going to send it out. We're going to email it out to everybody. So be watching for that email. Hopefully it doesn't end up in your spam. So check your spam and junk. But one of the biggest things that, if you feel like we're doing a good job for you, and one of the biggest ways you can tell, thank us, is by sharing, what we do with your friends and family that are retiring or or going on Medicare, that type of thing. And we would be happy to have, if you've got friends that are getting close to Medicare age or retiring, and you think this event would be good for them, we're happy to have them at the event too. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be a specific client to, come to the event. So feel free to share this recording with your friends when we email it out to you. And then, like we said, grab your ticket if you haven't already. They're only $10, and just call our office or check the email that we sent you already for the link to go get your ticket. So thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye now.